Alright. Hello and welcome back to Danganronpa V3 here. So I've had a couple more skills. I'll change tab. These in alphabetical order. Oh. So I added the one that gives us more focus, as well as charisma, which I've unlocked, I just never equipped it. But yeah, and then also, we're still on mean to mean. But yeah, let's do the class trial.
Now then, let's begin with the basic explanation of the class trial. During the trial, you'll present your arguments for who the culprit is, and vote for who done it. Vote correctly, and only the blackened will be punished. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will graduate from this academy. Also, refusing to vote will result in your death, so you better vote for someone. Now, smiles, everyone! It's showtime! Let's...
Sorry, everyone. I don't think I'm gonna be much help this time. Because of
You
Monokuma's
were never any help ever.
disruptions, I couldn't do a thorough investigation.
I can tell Monokuma is overcompensating to hide his self-consciousness.
Next time, spend less time fixing your hair and more time investigating, spaceman!
Shut up! I don't need to hear some comedy act from you two weirdos.
Who did it? Who killed Angie and Tenko?
Do not let your emotions hasten your judgment. There may be two killers.
So, our other culprit might not be one of us here.
Oh, we're still with this theory?
What do you mean?
I forgot about it because it was just stupid.
Transfer student.
What, the name of the
Maybe
chapter?
our resurrected transfer student dragged Angie and Tenko into the grave.
The chapter names have been irrelevant.
Stop it!
All
Stop
game.
making stuff up!
Say something, Shuichi. It'll be a mess if this keeps going on.
Alright. Is it possible for a revived corpse to be the culprit? Well, in the interest of being thorough, I should clear things up.
This crime was committed by the recently deceased. They came back to life and killed 2 of our classmates.
No! So, ritual did work?
I
Who
did.
was resurrected, I wonder?
Angie did say she was gonna bring Rantaro back.
She did say that.
Rantaro was resurrected. The culprit is the late Rantaro Amami!
Please, stop it!
This crime was committed by the recently deceased. They came back to life and killed 2 of our classmates.
I love zombies.
So,
Oh, come
Who
on.
was resurrected?
That's just evil.
This crime was committed by the recently deceased. They came back to life and killed 2 of our classmates.
no! So, that's wrong!
There we go, be counter.
I don't think Angie's ritual succeeded. According to the Necronomicon Monokuma showed us, you have to burn the Necronomicon in the ritual.
After preparing the effigy, burn this Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution. Be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning. Sprinkle the ashes on the effigy and repeat the name of the deceased 3 times.
If Angie's ritual had succeeded, the book would have been gone.
So she must have been killed before the ritual was complete, since the book was still intact.
then Gonta think Rantaro probably not culprit.
Way to go, Gonta.
I guess you're right.
Well, duh. There's no way a dead person could resurrect.
Now hold on a second. I can't let that comment stand. Sure,
Okay.
everybody knows that you can't bring the dead back to life. But it's easy at the Ultimate Academy, as long as you use the Necronomicon.
What are you talking about? There's no way that's possible.
But it's true. I never lie about motives.
Daddy said so he can't be wrong. Raising the dead is totally possible.
Man, I can't believe you guys wasted such a perfectly good motive. You should have let me use it to bring Monodum back to life.
Monodum is still
Wait.
alive, though.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't waste a resurrection on Monodum's corpse.
Yeah, he's trying to die.
Oh? So resurrecting the dead was actually possible this whole time?
There's no way it's possible.
There's no way that could happen, idiots. Monokuma is trying to confuse us. Let's hurry up and find out who the Blackened is.
If our transfer student isn't the culprit, then blame falls to one of us.
Who? Who did it?
Step aside, Half Pint. I'll handle this.
Oh, this will go
I don't
well.
know about Tenko, but I'm pretty fucking sure Kyo murdered Angie.
I mean, my thoughts the complete other way around, being Kyo murdered Tenko, and then we can figure out murdered Angie, but I mean, alright.
Why?
Don't play dumb with me, creep show. I already know what happened.
Go leave Katana, maybe?
The culprit used a katana to kill Angie,
Right.
and it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which
No,
makes you, Kyo,
I mean, technically
automatically
it
suspicious.
was, but that wasn't
But
where the murder
anyone
weapon
could have
was.
taken that katana, you see.
So
Yeah.
that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm.
You didn't
Went to
care
the
about some
classroom,
katana.
broke in, and murdered the fuck out of Angie. Booyah! I'm a fucking genius!
Is Kyo really the culprit? Does that story fit the facts of the case? We should think about it from the
The
beginning.
culprit used a katana to kill Angie, and it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not.
That's my right goal. Really?
Damn it!
The culprit used a katana to kill Angie, and it was
What's Samugi's account? That's not relevant.
found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
I
Just admit
did
it, you
not
shit-eating
care.
worm.
How in the world is that not the contradiction? Okay.
Went to the classroom, broke in, and murdered the fuck out of Angie.
Broken. Oh.
Booyah! I'm a fucking genius!
Never mind, I found it.
The culprit
I didn't
used a
realize she
katana to kill
said
Angie,
broken. That
and
would
it
do
was
it.
found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom.
But
Damn it!
But he didn't
The
break in.
culprit used a katana to kill Angie. And it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have
All
taken
right.
that katana, you see.
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just
He didn't
admit
care about
it, you
katana, he
shit-eating
really cared
worm.
about.
You went to the classroom, broke in, and murdered the fuck out of
It's
Angie.
locked, yes.
Booyah! I'm a fucking genius! The culprit used a katana
I'm
to
gonna
kill
go
Angie,
Kapisha lockpicking, I guess.
and it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
He cared a lot. He's
Just
obsessed
admit it,
with
you
Yeah, I
shit-eating
agree with the
worm.
white noise.
You went to the classroom.
Really? Really? Like, really?
I was wrong!
What?
The culprit used a katana to kill Angie. And it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom, broke in, and murdered the fuck out of Angie. Booyah! I'm a fucking genius! The culprit used a katana to kill Angie. And it was found in Kyo's research lab.
Like, what is this? Angie locked herself in the Ultimate Artist lab since yesterday and worked on the ritual. She would have not unlocked the door unless someone asked her. Yeah. That's not relevant.
Which makes you, Kyo, automatically—
I doubt it's the back door. Well, because we're not there yet. I mean, it has to be
Suspicious.
broke.
But anyone
We,
could have taken
it's
that
not the
katana,
katana.
you see.
It's not the front door. It can't be
So
the back
that
door.
rusty
And it's not
katana was
Kapisha
the murder
lockpicking.
weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
I mean, she wouldn't unlock the door unless someone from the student council asked her to. Which...
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom, broke in,
I missed it.
and murdered the fuck out of Angie.
Oh, well. We're running out of time.
Kill Angie. Kyo's research lab. You, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
Right?
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom.
That's wrong!
Why? Why?
No, Kyo would not have been able to enter Angie's lab.
Okay.
Isn't that right, Tsumugi?
Yeah. Before Angie locked herself up in her research lab, she said she wasn't going to open up for anyone but student council members.
So he couldn't have broken into her lab?
And Kyo is not a member. She wouldn't have opened the door for him.
I mean, obviously, but like, if it's break in.
Kyo couldn't have killed Angie even if he wanted to.
I had no desire to kill her in the first place.
I mean, I believe that.
So whoever killed Angie must have been one of the student council members, yeah?
I was doing a bit to lead you to the right answer. Can't believe you actually got it.
I think we're further away from it, but
how
go
clever.
You can just ignore her, Gonta.
The remaining student council members are Gonta, Kibo, Tsumugi, and Himiko.
for it.
Well, it can't be
Whatever.
Himiko. She was besties with Angie. I trust their friendship. You guys do too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Can we trust their friendship so readily?
Obviously. Let's believe in them.
That trims
I don't
our
like the
list
way
of
he's
suspects
talking
down
about
to
that.
3. Gonta, Tsumugi, and Kibo.
Yep. The culprit is one of those 3 people.
You mean one of those 2 people? 'Cause a robot ain't people, Jack!
I will let that remark slide. Anyway, aren't these accusations just a tad too hasty?
A little bit.
Whatevs. The culprit should confess already. Gonta, Keyboy, or Tsumugi? Well,
No, not Gonta. Gonta would never kill Angie.
Yeah, Gonta's a gentleman. You shouldn't suspect either of us.
Hey, stick up for me too.
Gonta definitely not hurt anyone. Torture Gonta if you don't believe.
Torture might be a bit too far, but Gonta and I aren't the culprits.
And I'm not the culprit either. Jeez.
Gonta not
We're
culprit.
not the culprit.
I mean, I agree with all these. Alright, gotta find a contradiction.
We must
There's
consider
one in
other
us.
possibilities. Surely there must be such.
Gentlemen, not betray student council.
that's utterly impossible.
A dead
Not just
can't be the culprit!
I mean, she could be.
It's not that far-fetched.
Only student members had
culprit
access.
is. But it's definitely not me.
Robophobic remark.
There were several suspicious statements, but only one is obviously inconsistent.
I didn't
Okay.
kill Angie. Well then,
Gentlemen, not betray student council.
I thought Tenko did it.
Which
a
is
dead chick
possible.
can't be the culprit!
Why? It's not that far-fetched.
Look, I don't know who the culprit
no robots told such.
but it's definitely not me.
Robophobic remark.
Okay, so there's nothing in that right statement that's even a weak point.
Gonta is gentlemen.
What about Gunta's?
Gentlemen, not betray student council.
And do you have an alibi for last night?
Gonta in room talking to bug friends.
Okay.
Only student council members had access.
Ask bug friends if Kyo doubt
Much
Gonta.
better than being out too late.
I can't.
Robophobic remark. We must consider other possibilities. Surely there must be suspect.
Gentlemen, not betray student council.
And do you have...
The impossible. Not just anyone could open that door.
Okay.
Only student council members.
Could teach lockpicking?
I heard it! No, it wasn't just student council members that could have opened that lab door.
What was it you said earlier about Kyo opening the door, Shuichi? Unless you're a student council member, you can't enter Angie's lab, right?
I was referring to Kyo. He couldn't have done it, but you could have. Because I saw you open the classroom lock by picking it.
Right.
Oh, that happened? I totally forgot.
So you're going to pretend you don't remember, huh?
Quit glaring at me like that. Of course I remember. Yeah, I did it. I killed Angie.
Oh, cool. Alright, he's admitted it. Alright, case closed.
Wait, what? What did you just say?
I picked the lock to her lab, snuck into the room, and then wham! Killed Angie. The culprit was me, all along.
There you go, case closed. Alright, we're done.
What?
What are you saying? Is this some kind of joke?
Nah, no joke. I thought that if I confessed, I could atone for my sins. And it helped. I feel so much better. Whew!
Wait, so Kokichi really is culprit?
No contact.
No, he's lying. I think. Maybe?
He's lying. I'm certain of it.
No, definitely not a lie. I killed Angie.
I mean, you know, the American court system, he's admitted to it, you know? Just, you know, lock him away. That's how that works.
Shouldn't you guys believe
We
the
have
culprit
tortured for
when they
14 hours
confess?
of an investigation or interrogation.
Then
It's kinda
let
weird.
me ask you, culprit. How did you lock the room?
Huh? Well, it's the same as opening it. You pick the door closed from the outside.
That's not something you can
No,
do.
that doesn't make sense.
Huh? What doesn't make sense? Can't you lock a door by picking
No.
it?
That's even, no.
Maybe, but that's not how the culprit locked the room. They used a different method.
What different method?
Yeah, Mumbles. Use your big boy voice and explain yourself.
There were 2 doors to the classroom, and the one locked last was...
The back door?
That's it! The back door. That's how they made this a locked room mystery.
The back door had a sliding lock, yes? How was it locked from the outside?
The culprit used a certain tool.
The sword? This minigame, okay. That was not the order I thought it was gonna go in. Does white go pink or does white go... Okay, perfect. I meant yellow, but whatever. I think it's gonna be this one. I didn't think it would do that. Oh well, I'm sure it's fine. It really does not matter. Yeah, it's gotta be that. Can I flip any of these? There we go. I mean, is that the sword? Or is this a sword? I think this is the sword here. might fail this. Oh, I got lucky there.
The gold leaf katana that was stabbed into Kaede's effigy. The culprit used that to hit the knob of the sliding lock to lock the door.
So the gold leaf was on the sliding lock
Because when the katana hit the lock, some of the gold leaf rubbed off on it. The gold leaf on that katana did peel rather easily.
That evidence rings a bell. Specifically, a school bell.
Yeah, weird. You know, katana being used in a murder case? I don't know. That sounds pretty far-fetched. That'd be like if you, wrote down the victim's name in your own blood. Like, they just wouldn't happen.
Huh? Are you talking about a different school? What school was it?
Now, that doesn't matter anymore. Let's not dwell on the
Yeah.
past.
It's fine. You know, no one knows about that case, right, Smoogie?
Ooh, the gold leaf landed on the sliding lock when the katana touched it. So that means the culprit used the katana to move the sliding lock, right? But wait, how did they move it with a katana? And from outside Angie's lab?
The clue that might give us the answer is the layout of the area itself. It was an odd setup after all.
Yeah.
The katana stabbed into the effigy. The effigies hung upside down.
Angie didn't do that as part of the ritual?
No. Nowhere in the Necronomicon did it say you had to hang the effigies.
If it was not part of the ritual, then it must have been for a different purpose, right?
A different purpose. What could that have been? The culprit somehow used the setup to lock the room. In that case, I know the reason behind every step of that setup. If I did that, the way the culprit locked the room should become clear. Okay. What turned the handle of the sliding lock? The hilt. I wouldn't call it a handle, but I mean, or turning it. I mean, you bumped it forward, but I mean, you know, call what you want. What was done to make the katana turn the lock? Again, not turning, it's pushing it forward, but it was hit by the katana. Wasn't sure about that one, but we got it. Now see how it hit the lock. How was the effigy manipulated to make the katana in effect lock? I assume it was twisted up and then spun. Spinning, yeah. Perfect.
That's it. The reason the culprit stuck the katana into the effigy was so that it would hit the sliding lock as the effigy spun.
Effigy spun?
That's right. If you spun the effigy, the rope it was hanging from would twist. Then, if you let it go, the rope would unwind and the effigy would spin the other way. And of course, the katana would spin with it.
I see. So the culprit used the katana's counterspin to push the lock into place? The culprit simply needed to spin the effigy's rope and then swiftly leave. This would cause the spinning katana to hit the sliding lock.
You know, after like 13,000
And thus
attempts.
was the back door of an empty classroom
But, you know.
locked from the inside.
Yes, that's how Angie's lab was locked. By using the effigy with the katana.
A plan born from the heart of a sword traveling through the air to intercept us. Oh, but could it have moved the slide lock so easily?
Easily, yeah.
The sliding lock was pretty loose. A little push could move it. As long as the spinning katana hit the lock, it would have slid into position.
Even if the culprit failed the first couple times, they could keep trying until it locked.
Also
Which is
true.
why the culprit chose to strike at nighttime as to avoid detection.
Yes, since the student council prohibited anyone from walking around at nighttime.
Are you saying it's the student council's fault?
Yes.
I didn't say that.
In any case, the culprit probably used the murder weapon for this trick. It had to have been the right length to hit the sliding lock from the effigy.
The culprit couldn't find a blade long enough in my lab, so they settled for the katana.
The other effigies were only hung up so we'd think it was some kind of ceremony. That way, we wouldn't notice the lock trick.
But Kokichi did say earlier that he could have picked the lock closed.
You can't pick locks closed. That's not
I
how
don't want
lock
to
picking
completely
works.
ignore that possibility. But I can't imagine the
Right?
culprit would have done all this just for a distraction.
If that's the case, then Kokichi's confession earlier was actually...
Seriously? You fucking lied again?
That's his ultimate
Cough
ability.
it up, Kokichi!
Oh, man. You guys got me. Okay, I'm not the culprit.
You're telling the truth this time, right?
I want to say I'm lying, but I'm not.
Why did you say you were the culprit?
I wanted to lure the culprit out. If I claimed to be the culprit, then the real culprit would agree as well. You get me? And if they pressured me to confess, then that would have looked mighty suspicious. Sheesh. Darn it. It didn't go my way because Shuichi butted in on my plan.
You and your fucking lies! Go sit in the corner and play with yourself!
Okay, I'll start right now.
Jesus.
Alright, So, who's the asshole who set up this locked room mystery?
You. I can't hold it up anymore.
What's the matter? You going soft on me now?
What is happening?
Who made the locked room mystery doesn't matter since anyone could have done it. Don't you even understand something as basic as that, you filthy cum dumpster?
Cum dumpster! Finally! Someone finally called me a cum dumpster!
What should we talk about now?
Literally anything but that.
We must focus not on the locked
Please.
room, but on who entered Angie's lab. Only one of the student council members or Kokichi could have gained entry. Therefore, the culprit must be among their number.
That leaves us with 4 suspects. Tsumugi, Gonta, Kibo, and Kokichi.
Don't forget Himiko. She's also a part of the student council. Doesn't matter if she was besties with Angie, she's still a suspect.
That contradicts what you said earlier, which I can prove using my recording function.
It's fine. That's just a waste of time.
Me? A suspect? I never kill Angie!
So, calling all suspects, what should we discuss next? I want to hear everyone's opinion. What would you say to get yourself off the suspect list?
Why are you trying to lead the debate? You're a suspect too.
Silence, outsider! Only the suspect rangers are allowed to speak.
Suspect rangers?
I agree. Those under suspicion should explain themselves thoroughly.
We might catch them with their pants down.
Anyway, I want to ask the suspect rangers. What should we talk about? What should we say to get ourselves off the suspect list? Well, guys, I want to hear what you think.
That's sort of a difficult question, you know?
Gonta not smart enough to know answer to that.
Yes, it is difficult to formulate a logical response to that question.
Not articulate with words, huh? Don't you guys want to prove your innocence?
They don't trust you one bit, and I don't blame them. You're probably plotting.
Why did Tenko have to die?
Huh?
I want to know what happened to Angie too, but can we talk about Tenko's case now and not just Angie's?
I got you exactly where I wanted, Himiko.
What do you mean?
The 2 victims could have been killed by 2 separate murderers, you know. So we need to find the first Blackened responsible for the first victim. We've got to figure out who killed Angie. Until we solve Angie's case, Tenko's case is meaningless. Did you suggest that to waste our time?
It's not meaningless!
Himiko.
Tenko's death was meaningless? How dare you! Poor Tenko! How could you do this to her? Himiko...
Himiko, stop it with your crappy lies.
Lies?
Everything you said is total BS. You didn't give 2 shits about Tenko when she was alive. But now you're like, oh no, poor Tenko, after she's dead. Come on, really?
Kokichi, enough!
No. It's okay. It's no surprise he'd think that. I know I ignored Tenko before. That's why I'm so upset now. I should have faced Tenko. Worked things out with her while she was still alive. But now, it's too late. I can't complain to her or thank her. It's too late.
Yeah, seriously! It's way too late to realize that now. Our only option is to face her death head on.
Face her death?
Himiko, I understand what you're going through. So I'm gonna help you out. Let's work together to find the truth. I'm not gonna let anyone say her death didn't matter.
Kaito. All right. I'll put a silencing curse on whoever calls Tenko's death meaningless. The name of the curse is Death Curse! I suppose being dead would silence someone pretty good.
I mean, it would.
Listen up! All you guys are gonna help out too. Abandoning someone who died and only thinking about your own survival. That's just as bad as a hit and run! I won't forgive something so messed up!
Tenko was our friend. Gonta wanna know why she died too.
I already told you that's so unnecessary. We're getting sidetracked here.
No, even if it was a different culprit, we need to know how Tenko died. If we don't find out who killed her, we won't be able to work together. Not now, not ever. Even if this trial isn't for her, in order for us to survive, we need to get to the bottom of Tenko's death. Not just to survive this trial, but so we can keep going and live on!
Good Kaito.
Finally, you noticed. Jeez, you're so slow.
Huh? Did Kokichi want us to notice?
Don't listen to his crap. We haven't decided whether there were two different culprits yet.
Let us talk about Tenko's case then. Perhaps that will provide us a clue.
Yeah, maybe.
They're not wrong, but I don't mind going over Tenko's case. But that was an abrupt change topic. Was that intentional?
So what do we talk about first?
For now, let's see if we can narrow down the list of suspects.
Tancrouch probably got killed during the seance, so everyone there's suspicious.
Upgrade that. The people who attended the seance. Technically, Kiba was there.
That's it! It was me, Kyo, Himiko, and Kokichi.
No, he helped set it
So
up.
those four are the
Kibo did.
culprits.
Oh, Himiko's still culprit?
Well, that's probably just a coinkydink. The most suspicious out of the four is really Kyo. He suggested the whole seance idea.
And again, I'd agree with that.
True, I may have suggested it, but I explained the procedure beforehand, yes? If we all knew of it before the murder, then we are all equally suspicious.
Well, I suppose, but...
In addition, the seance wasn't entirely in my control either. I was not the one who selected the room we performed it in. It was Himiko.
However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one shall we use? The mill room. The mill room's always best for stuff like this. Very well. I shall begin the preparations at once.
Oh, right.
Also, we should not limit our suspects to only those who participated in the seance. The empty room had a point of entry from outside, you see.
A point of entry from outside, he must be referring to. I mean, I can't really see it in this picture, but it's that, right?
There!
Yeah, the hole in the floorboards.
You're talking about under the floor, right?
Huh? Under the floor?
Yes, there's a crawl space under the floor a person could move through. There was also a hole that connected it to the neighboring room.
If the culprit used the hole, they could have entered and exited the seance room.
If we consider that possibility, then there is another suspect.
Another suspect? Who?
It's appearing before me. Oh, I can see it clearly. The true identity of Tenko's killer.
This is a lie bullet.
The culprit sneaked in during the
There's
seance.
the radio sound. The radio
By
sounds. Okay.
crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see,
It wasn't dark on
our
the floor.
villain had a light.
Our villain had a light.
I mean,
Candle,
Kibo's
no.
flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance.
I said hold on a second.
He used his robot functions to commit the murders.
Hold on a second.
It is true that with a little light you can move around on the floor. But is that
The
possible?
culprit sneaked in during the seance
But this is a lie bullet.
by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light?
Our villain
You
had a
mean
light?
Candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the
Use
empty
that
room during the
function to get
seance.
under the floor.
I said hold on a second.
He used his robot functions to commit the murders.
Hold on a second.
Use that function under the floor. Well, the hole in the floorboard would mean that he couldn't actually use it under the floor. Though if this is a lie bullet,
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
no, no,
But it was pitch
no,
black
there's
during
no
the
way.
seance.
It has to be one of these two.
How
This
could
one
they
might be the
even
actual
see if they were
answer,
under the floor?
but this,
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had
our
a light.
villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor.
I didn't hold Y. I didn't
I
actually
was
use lie bullet.
wrong.
I used regular bullet.
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light?
Hold
You
the
mean
floorboards
candle?
to counter that.
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that
I'll reveal the truth. Mew, you gave Kibo his flashlight function, correct? Did you not notice?
I didn't notice what.
It's hard to believe that Kibo is the culprit in this case. It's even hard to believe that this trial isn't being manipulated by someone that keeps talking, even though they haven't really talked in any of the previous class trials. Seems to lie.
The
I
drawback
defend
of
Kibo.
the flashlight function that you added. It's so bright, even Kibo can't see when it's turned on.
Yeah, is that right, Kibo?
I see. That bright, huh? Wait, what? There's no way a genius like me would make that kind of rookie mistake!
But you make mistakes a lot.
Yes. Arigato.
If you're gonna fuck me in front of everyone, at least buy me dinner first!
No, why would I buy
If
you
he can't
dinner?
see, it doesn't
Jeez.
matter how bright the area is. He couldn't move like that. So Kibo couldn't have been underneath the floor.
Is that true, Kibo? Is what Shuichi said true?
No. Come on, Kibo. Please play along. Kibo!
Well, I'm so sorry. I just don't remember. Really, I'm sorry.
How would you not? Oh,
Oh, we get it already! Just turn it off! We're gonna go blind!
You don't remember? What does that even mean?
Well, Shuichi, trying to make a fool out of me, huh? Let me put on some makeup, cause I want to at least look pretty before you decide to fuck me!
That's
Shuichi, I'm so sorry.
Jesus.
Damn, that is seriously bright!
Wouldn't the light have shined through the gaps of the floorboard if it had been
Thank
this
you.
bright?
The hole.
yes. The culprit couldn't have used a light under the floor. Not even Kibo.
Oh, they couldn't have?
We were there after all. We would know. There was a hole near the corner of the room we were in, remember? If someone had a light under the floor, it would have leaked through.
But when we did the seance, I'm pretty sure the room was pitch black.
That's right. We didn't see anything, so the culprit couldn't have used a light.
And just because I have a built-in flashlight function does not mean I am the culprit.
I see. That was a flaw in my theory.
Geez, here I thought this would be the case where the murder could only be done by a robot.
You have accused me of being the culprit more than once now, simply because I am a robot.
Yeah.
My status as a robot does not mean I am capable of performing superhuman feats.
No, it doesn't. Are you sure about that?
My vision is somewhat poor, and I only possess average physical strength and intelligence.
All right, you made your point. God, now I feel sort of bad for you.
I neither want nor need your pity.
And
Enough
what?
with the flashlight! It's way too bright!
It would have been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch black darkness. Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case.
I don't know about that.
Then why was floorboard under Tenko lined up funny? Going to think that was so culprit could stab Tenko from under floor.
I mean, for a moron, he is incredibly smart.
Ooh, nice observation, Gonta. Are you finally getting used to the class trials?
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Don't say it like that. You're better off not being used to this kind of stuff.
Maybe they marked Tenko with glowing paint and looked for that.
I don't think we have another glowing paint in darkness case.
That'd let the culprit find her. Then they could stab her through the floorboards.
Boy, that sounds really familiar too.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna ignore it.
Yeah, let's ignore it.
Her corpse didn't
Ah,
have any
that would
trace
never
of glowing
happen.
paint, though.
Oh, yeah. So then why was that floorboard loose?
The loose floorboard was the one under Tenko, right? If the culprit used it while she was still alive, she'd totally notice.
Who fucking cares? Fussing over that won't get us closer to the culprit!
We shouldn't dismiss this line of inquiry, however. Instead of butting our heads against this, how about we concentrate on another issue?
What other issue?
Perhaps first, we should figure out how and when exactly Tenko was killed.
When? So not during seance?
It was during the seance.
Tenko was in the metal cage for the whole seance, wasn't she? How could someone have gotten to her there?
Maybe the culprit killed her before she went under the metal cage.
No.
That's not possible. She was alive at that point.
This is the point of no return, Tenko. After this point, you mustn't speak. The next time you open your mouth, it'll be Angie speaking through you. Understood, I won't say a word till the seance is over.
Yes, she was unmistakably alive when the seance began.
That was right before we blew out the candles. But when the light came back...
The floorboard was removed at that point, so it's likely she was already dead then.
So she was killed when the room was dark?
But she was inside cage, right? Going to think it impossible to kill her then.
Then she wasn't killed when the room was dark. It was a different time.
A different time?
How the fuck should I know? You figure it out, shitheads.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're playing 5-dimensional chess with, you know, multi-space dimensional time traveler or
Since
whatever.
Volta said it was impossible, I'm proposing an alternate theory. Now hurry up and think! If you want to make my golden brain tingle, start circle jerking your limp dick brains! When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
But it was.
It could not have been done at any other time. She
Right.
was under the cage the whole time.
She was under the
was
cage the
dead
whole time. I
when
would
the
agree
cage
with that.
was lifted.
I would agree with that.
What about moment Cage was lifted?
Cage was lifted.
Like that.
When Cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Oh my!
So who lifted the cage?
Himiko.
It was me.
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit.
Himiko is the culprit. Tenko not being killed during the seance. That might be impossible, but there's no evidence for
When
it.
Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time.
She
And
was under the
dead
cage the whole
when
time.
cage
That's
was
true.
lifted.
That is true.
What about moment Cage was lifted?
Moment Cage was lifted.
Like that.
When Cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Oh my!
So who lifted the cage?
It was me.
The white sheet was gone when
Then
the
obviously
cage was
Himiko
lifted.
is the culprit.
There's no
And the white sheet has blood on it.
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any
There was
other
also a
time.
pool of blood around Tenko when the white
She
sheet
was
was
under the
lifted,
cage
but,
the whole time.
you know.
And she was
Um,
dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment Cage was lifted? That's wrong!
No, it wasn't possible to kill her the moment the cage was lifted. Because the inside of the white cloth had Tenko's blood on it. That cloth was removed before the cage was lifted. If Tenko was stabbed then, there wouldn't be blood on the cloth.
What?
There'd also be a pool of blood around
How
her.
could my golden
But,
brain be
you know.
wrong when it felt so right?
The only possibility is that Tenko was killed during the seance.
I got your remodel right here!
Alright then.
No, it's still wrong to think that Tenko was killed during the seance.
What?
I'm gonna prove it right now. My golden brain is gonna go all out! Tenko died after the seance. It happened when the sheet was lifted. That was the moment the culprit chose to stab the fuck out of Tenko through the cage! They stuck the thin blade through the gaps of... And that clean white sheet got stained blood red!
But
It's
the
pink.
weapon was a sickle.
Blood's pink in
Only
this
the
universe.
blade could have fit through the gaps.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko. Sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Sitting in there?
She wasn't that far from the cage's gaps. In which case, the person who lifted the sheet is the... And that's none other than Kyo!
Sitting in there.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to...
She's in a crouch position.
reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Nope. She's probably sitting down normally while she wasn't. We know that. We know she wasn't. How is that not the counter?
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Why is it stone? I mean, obviously it works, but
wait just a minute.
Whatever. I'm
Tenko
not
wasn't
gonna
sitting
question
down
it.
inside the cage. She was bent over with her forehead against the marker stone, and the cage itself was about 3 feet tall. The sickle's blade was too short to reach Tenko while she was in that position.
Then I messed up again? How could this happen? I am so embarrassed.
It happens about every 4
No
seconds.
worries, Mew. Everyone already knows you're an embarrassment to the human race.
Thank you. Finally, Kokichi said something useful.
Yeah, no worries.
Arigato.
How embarrassing!
If Shuichi is right, then it's impossible for Tenko to have been killed through the cage.
She couldn't have been killed during the seance since she was in the cage, right?
If she was killed then, the cloth over the cage would have been pierced.
Not during the seance or from below the floor. Then it's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, for a living person.
No, don't do this.
What if Angie's spirit killed Tenko?
What, in revenge for Tenko killing Angie?
What are you talking about?
Sure.
That's not possible.
We don't know that. Some things are impossible for a human, but not for a spirit.
Don't say stupid stuff like that. Screw spirits.
Stop that now.
Angie's spirit killed Tenko? Why?
Himiko?
Why would Angie's spirit kill Tenko?
What if Tenko killed Angie, and then Angie's spirit came back for revenge?
Yeah, that's my theory. Now
Like
you're
I
still
said,
my
that's
theory,
impossible.
Kokichi.
Spirits can't be
Jeez.
culprits.
Then explain how the culprit killed Tenko under these impossible circumstances.
Well,
See? You can't explain, can you? Only a spirit could have done that!
wait, I know. What if the culprit was hiding inside the cage?
Are you mentally insane?
If they were in there, they could have stabbed Tenko during the seance.
No, if there was someone else in the cage, we would have
I agree
noticed.
with Kaito. The culprit could have
What?
been inside the cage.
You do?
Nonsense. There was no space in the cage for the culprit to hide.
Maybe the culprit wouldn't need to hide in the first place.
What?
Also, the culprit
Are you
could
saying
have
she
killed
killed
her in the
herself?
cage at any time. I think you know what I'm getting at, right?
I do, but like, really?
I believe Maki is referring to Tenko herself.
What did you say?
Are you saying Tenko is the culprit?
She committed suicide.
Suicide?
If she committed suicide, it would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out. She volunteered to be in the cage and then stabbed herself during the seance. It wouldn't matter how dark the room was.
But the sickle she was stabbed with was under the floor, right? If Tenko had stabbed herself, wouldn't the sickle still be inside the cage?
Oh my god. Mew actually said something smart.
Perhaps that explains why the floorboard was removed. After stabbing herself with the sickle, she threw it underneath the floor.
So she took off the floorboard to get rid of the sickle?
Yes, that makes sense to Gonta.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason for Tenko to commit suicide.
Maybe I wasn't too far off with the theory I had earlier. You know, about Tenko killing Angie.
That's my theory. Stop stealing my theory. Jeez.
Because Tenko and Angie were fighting for your attention, right?
Hey, Angie, when did you brainwash Himiko?
Tenko's pent-up frustration led her to commit such an atrocity. Her conscience couldn't handle it anymore, so she decided to end her own life.
What?
But if she was gonna kill herself, why do it during the seance?
She wanted to hide the truth of her suicide.
Really? Why?
There could only be one reason to hide it in a killing game, right? It's to take us down with her.
Take us down?
She wanted us to pick the wrong answer during the class trial, so she could bring us all down. She wanted us to die with her. Okay, well, she probably just wanted Himiko to die with her, but still.
But what are you saying? Tenko wasn't like that. She told me.
Keep your chin up and live life facing forward. Survive me and everyone else.
What if all of that was just a lie?
A lie?
Wait! We should believe Tenko's last words!
The true terror of class trials is that you shouldn't believe everything said.
Himiko, you said that Tenko would never do anything like that. But how can you be so sure? Did you guys actually know each other? People keep all sorts of secrets. Like Maki. She hid the fact that she's a cold-blooded killer. Is it wise of us to trust other people wholeheartedly in this kind of situation?
Jeez, you're such a naive dude.
I mean, he's got a point.
Naive?
We're all just people, you know? Of course we're gonna have some secrets. What matters is whether there's any malice behind them.
People can lie about how malicious their hidden secrets really are.
Well, duh. It's impossible to know for sure what others are thinking. That's why it all comes down to whether or not you believe in yourself. If you get betrayed, it's not their fault. It's your fault for believing in them. That's why I believed in Maki Roll, because I wanted to believe in her.
Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you get to skip training.
Hey, come on. Don't you think you're being a little too strict?
Well, we come from different backgrounds. So for now, let's agree to disagree. No one's ever called me naive before. And from Kaito? Seriously?
Whether or not I believe, my heart can't reach Tenko anymore. But I want to believe in her. She wouldn't commit suicide. She wouldn't try to take us down. That's what I want to believe.
Me too. Gonta no can believe Tenko commits suicide.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, that would answer all of our questions.
It would, but how would she have enough force to drive that sickle into the back of her neck?
If you insist we believe in Tenko, then provide a reason to do so.
A proper
All right.
reason.
I'll give you a reason.
Is there a reason?
Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki? If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like. But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work.
I believe Tenko would kill herself because of what she said. Okay, everyone, I'll see you guys after the seance. She said, I'll see you guys after. I doubt she has a sudden change of heart. Just because we don't know how she was killed doesn't mean that it was suicide. We should be satisfied with that, and if we keep thinking, we'll find the truth. And that means you have to believe Tenko. I think we'll all believe. It's not a life for me, bullet.
So far, suicide
Okay.
seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person!
But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle. And
Brought
then
the
stabbed
sickle?
herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength,
We're gonna say she died instantly.
she threw the sickle underneath the floor.
The last
All
of her
pieces
strength,
fit.
she died instantly. That's the lie.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person!
But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle. And then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last.
Oh, it's a lie bullet. I knew that. I knew that. I knew I'd hold lie for like 13 seconds.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person!
But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle. And then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the
She died instantly. There we
I'll
go.
reveal the truth. Tenko couldn't have thrown the sickle under the floor because she died instantly.
Which, I mean, technically, because of all that pain, she was just paralyzed until she bled out. Technically, this isn't that far-fetched of a lie, because she was paralyzed until she did actually die, rather than died instantly. But, you know.
instantly.
Her death might have been instant, but she couldn't have gone far before she bled out.
I'm certain of it. My investigation determined that she died instantly.
What's your opinion, Maki? I'd like to hear from someone who specializes in murder.
Maki.
You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail.
I mean, honestly, you probably could have said that, like, yeah, after she was stabbed, she was paralyzed and then couldn't move, and then died mere seconds later. Then you could probably get away with that. I mean, it's effectively the same thing.
Tenko died instantly.
But, you know, let's just lie to everybody.
What?
Tenko died instantly.
As an assassin,
Yep.
I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko was killed immediately.
Words of a true killer. Pretty sure we can believe everything she said.
I love how Kokichi can just spot lies bloody instantly. It's amazing.
How
It
could
is
you forget
perfect.
that, Maki Roll? You better apologize to Shuichi.
Excuse me?
It's okay, Kaito, really. No apology.
Yeah, no, don't
necessary.
even apologize. I'm lying over here.
Anyway, Tenko died so suddenly that she couldn't have gotten rid of the sickle. Knowing that, the theory that she killed herself just doesn't fit, correct?
Just like I thought. Tenko wouldn't commit suicide.
Thank goodness, Himiko.
Which means someone definitely killed Tenko during the seance.
Her suicide was considered because we could not determine how she was killed.
No! There must have been a way! We're gonna figure it out!
Did any of the participants witness anything peculiar during the seance?
No, not really.
If you know something,
Nah.
please speak up. It could be the key to solving this mystery.
Not a bad idea. We should remember what happened to seance. Let me try to remember if there's something. I need something, some kind of clue that will help me solve this mystery.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary during the seance?
There is something that bothers me. The fact that the seance failed. The ritual was perfect. Failed.
Oh, that was a green bullet.
Damn it!
Yeah, that was a green bullet.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary during the
No.
seance?
There is something that bothers me. The fact that the seance failed. The ritual was perfect and yet failed. How utterly strange.
Now that I think about it, while we were all singing the song, I heard something.
There we
I
go.
agree! Himiko, you think that something fell because of that sound you heard, right?
It sounded like something heavy fell down and hit the floor really hard. What could have fallen down?
Fallen down? There wasn't anything on the ceiling that could have fallen down, right?
Am I wrong? I thought something fell, but
I'm in a roundabout way, you're probably right.
The sound
Technically
was
something
pretty
fell.
loud. It did seem like something hit the floorboards.
Yeah. A loud sound. Like something hitting the floorboards. Maybe that sound had something to do with the other thing that happened in the dark. What? What caused the sound that was heard during the crime scene? I mean, the loose floorboard, technically, right? Right?
This is it!
Okay.
I think the floorboard coming off had something to do with that sound. That floorboard came loose at some point during the seance, right?
could the floorboard have made such a loud sound though?
It was the sound of an intense impact.
If the impact was that intense, then it could have loosened the floorboard.
That is true. There had to have been a strong impact to make that sound. But what was it? What could it possibly be?
All right then, let's go with that. We all gotta put our heads together now. So what made the floorboard come loose?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That
Or
wouldn't
off,
make such
I
a
mean.
loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
It did.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
But we already
No.
said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through the floorboard.
I would agree with that. I can't hit that agree point, but I agree with it.
I agree!
There we go.
Kokichi is right. The floorboard came loose because someone stomped on it.
The floorboards fit perfect. Going to make sure first time we go to empty room.
When we first saw the room, yes. But when I looked again during the investigation, one of the cross pieces supporting the floorboards was cut off. After examining the cut, I concluded that it must have been done deliberately.
Someone? You mean the culprit, right? Why'd they do that?
What did the culprit stand to gain by cutting the crosspiece?
Will they stand to gain? That's the question. To solve this case, I need to carefully think about the crosspiece and the floorboard. Tenko's body was at one end of the loose floorboard, and the crosspiece cut was on the other end of the floorboard. And the end support part was outside the cage, so it could be stomped on. Yeah. Only one of the crosspieces was cut. The other two were intact. One of them was right under Tenko. And the other one was right in the center, right about where the edge of the cage was. What was the culprit attempting to achieve by stopping the floorboard? Come on, think. Seesaw? Seesaw effect? Is that enough? Yeah, okay, cool. E. T.
I see now.
Perfect.
That's right. The floorboard might have been used as a seesaw.
Huh? A seesaw?
The crosspiece at one end of the floorboard had been cut off. The other two crosspieces holding up that board were close to the cage. Meaning, if you were to apply force to the end of the floorboard with no crosspiece, the next crosspiece would act as a fulcrum to turn the floorboard into a lever. A lever capable of lifting up Tenko's entire body.
Her whole body lifted up?
Yeah, that sounds like a seesaw, all right. But why bother lifting Tenko's body?
Really?
They couldn't have killed Tenko like that. Unless they used the sickle.
Yeah?
That's exactly it. Using the seesaw trick, it was possible to kill Tenko with a sickle.
Huh? How?
In order for the culprit to kill Tenko with a seesaw trick, the placement of the sickle is the most important factor.
The floorboard seesaw, the cage, and the blood and white fabric. What conclusions can I draw from this? There's only one place that the sickle could have been that is consistent with the evidence. The top of the cage.
That's it! The sickle was at the top of the iron cage, with the blade facing down. The reason we didn't see it was because of the fabric covering the cage. Also, the wooden statue kept the blade in place. It's true that the sickle's handle was thick, which made the statue wobble, but the statue's weight kept it from falling over. Once everything was in place, if you stepped hard enough on the seesaw, Tenko's body would have shot upward and hit the blade on the top of the cage. She was bent over, meaning the sickle's blade would have connected with her neck.
The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in her crouched position. But with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, it could compensate for the blade's length.
Bringing the victim to the sickle rather than bringing the sickle to the victim. That's definitely an unorthodox idea.
It's crazy, but it would explain how Tenko got stabbed while she was in the cage.
So the sound we heard was the culprit stomping on the floorboard.
That impact make floorboard come loose.
Looks like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide.
I think you said homicide wrong.
Wait,
Not that I
but
can
there's a
say
seesaw
anything.
homicide? That's fucking crazy!
The craziness
Yeah,
is
I'm not
what
that
really
I
makes
say
the
anything.
killing
I've
game fun, you know?
mispronounced every word in this game.
They can't get away with murder the normal way, so they gotta think outside the box. Kudos, culprit! You did a great job keeping me entertained.
Indeed. Well played, Himiko.
Yeah?
Okay.
It was you, wasn't it? The one behind the seesaw homicide.
Why her?
Because she's the only one capable of carrying out this plan.
The only one? Why's that?
Because this seesaw homicide required its location to be prepared beforehand.
By cutting the crosspiece beneath the floorboard, you mean?
Then the culprit would need to lure their victim into the prepared room. That is why you chose that room for the seance. Is it not, Himiko?
However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one shall we use? The middle room. The middle room's always best for stuff like this.
Oh yeah! Himiko was the one who chose the site for the seance!
She likely found out about my plans for the seance somehow.
Didn't you just say that you told everybody?
You were quite vocal about the seance, Kiyo.
Yeah, thank you.
You even had instructions for it in
Thank
your lab.
you, Kibo.
Our culprit, Himiko, prepared her seesaw trap ahead of time. Then she waited for me to host the seance and suggested the middle room. She led us all into holding the seance right where she wanted it.
Yeah, because she would know
Then
exactly where to
She
place the
killed Tenko. All the
marker stone.
That's a lie, right? Himiko did such a thing?
In the end, Himiko, who Tenko cherished and loved, tragically killed her.
Wait! We don't know that, right? He's wrong, right, Himiko? Himiko would never kill Tenko, right?
Kill Tenko? I killed Tenko?
Himiko?
What's wrong, Himiko?
It's true that the middle room was Himiko's idea, but does that mean Himiko really killed Tenko? Would something like that really happen? Something so cruel. Oh, there we go. That's your mission. What time are we at? Let's keep going.
Well now.
Looks like you reached the admission segment, which means it's time for our Guess the Victim quiz. Victim quiz? Not the culprit quiz? Only the victims are the people who are still watching this drawn out boring crap. Why are you such a downer all of a sudden? I'm sure everyone here is happy. How do you know? They can skip this entire conversation for all you know. Can't take it. I can't take it anymore. I'm the real victim here, me. Why are you getting upset? If anything, I'm the real victim. I got put with all this nonsense all the time.
Absolutely right.
That's right. The answer was condemn. Why hasn't he said anything? Exactly. Because there are no victims. Yep, if you're killed in this killing game, you're a winner. Because everyone warns you, and you get tons of post-Thomas popularity. You don't need to reveal these kind of behind-the-scenes details. Die makes you popular? Then we gotta die soon! I mean, I'm sure, Bakuya could arrange that for you. Bakuya bot.
This is my impression of a spooky.
Stop! You're scaring Kaito! No!
I'm fine with real ghosts, but impressions of them are too scary!
Logic does not compute.
Did you hear something?
No, I didn't hear anything.
You're on the threshold of an amazing
You know what else is scary? Sweet buns. Yep, tasty, tasty sweet buns. So round, so sweet, so delicious.
That doesn't sound scary at all.
I'm scared too. Scared of losing my friends.
Did you hear something?
all that remains
No,
of a once
I didn't hear anything.
right now.
Answer us, Himiko. You chose the middle room to lure us into your trap, did you not? Then you used that trap to kill Tenko, yes?
Well, Donkey Lips, did you kill that twat?
Wait, must be some mistake. No way Himiko is culprit.
Then she needs to defend herself. Otherwise, this debate is deadlocked.
I don't care if you gotta use magic to do it, but say something already.
Are you even listening?
No, I'm not listening.
What?
I don't care anymore. I'm too tired. Angie died. Tenko died. Why did I have to survive? And now, you're all saying I killed them? I just don't care anymore.
Himiko.
Do whatever. If you want to vote for me, then just go ahead.
The game gets really blah if the suspect isn't into it.
That's not the problem.
Damn it. Don't tell me you've given up.
Himiko, don't give up.
Don't you understand? My life is riding on the outcome of this trial!
Just shut up. I told you, I'm too tired. It's all just a big pain. I can't put up with it anymore.
What are you talking about? If you give up here...
You needn't worry. Himiko was the one who chose that room. Therefore, she is unmistakably the culprit.
Impossible! Himiko would never kill Tenko! Himiko not that kind of person. Gonta can tell by Himiko's face.
Himiko's a little slow, so I don't think she's capable of handling a complicated crime.
I also
That's
think
not fair,
Himiko's
isn't it?
not the culprit. Somehow.
Either way, we gotta look for more possibilities.
That does seem like rather a pointless quest.
No, is not. We gotta be strong. Gotta keep thinking. Then we might find new truth. So no give up, Himiko!
Himiko, I know how you feel. I felt the same way after Kaede died. But we can't give up. We survived. We can't give up for the sake of everyone who's died. This is a life bullet.
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
Of the 3 empty rooms, why did you select the middle one, Himiko? Because you laid your trap there.
Was trap only in that room? Other
It
rooms
wasn't
may be
just all
trapped
3
too.
rooms. They were.
Yeah, even if Himiko picked the room, someone else could have set that trap.
Your opinions are empty words.
If the culprit's plan were to make Himiko a suspect, they might persuade her to choose that room somehow. But how? And what would that tell
Performing the
us?
seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if
Himiko's
someone
decision,
steered
was
her
it
into
not?
picking that room?
Of the 3 empty rooms, why did you select the middle one, Himiko? Because you laid your trap there.
Was Trap only in that room?
I mean, Bloody Kokichi is
Other
that
rooms
it
may be
wasn't
trapped too.
all the rooms. They were.
Yeah,
That's
even
how
if Himiko
Kokichi got
picked the
bloodied.
room,
But
someone else
The
could have
live
set
me
that
bullet.
trap.
Your opinions are empty words.
I wish I could see what the life or what the live bullets were.
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
Of the 3...
Fact of Boom Spirit, medium. Draw a magic circle, pass down from the cage village to the ground. Okay.
3 empty rooms.
It's not gonna be that.
The middle one, Himiko?
For a lie.
Because
Hole
you
in the
laid
corner.
your trap there.
Out, that's gonna be a
Was
live
Trap
bullet.
only in that room?
Cross piece under the floorboard, this will be the
Other
truth
rooms
bullet.
may be trapped too.
Yeah,
Because
even if
no,
Himiko
no, it
picked
should
the
be Bloody
room,
Kokichi.
someone else could have set that trap.
Your
Saying that,
opinions are
like,
empty
what?
words.
That's the cross piece on the floor magically. I don't know. Bloody Kokichi, not Bloody. So it's gotta be
Performing the seance in that room
the caged child
was
somehow.
Himiko's decision, was it not?
I
What
don't
if
know what life
someone
that would
steered
be.
her into picking that room?
What if someone
Of the
steered
3
her into it?
empty rooms, why did you select the middle one, Himiko? Because you laid your trap there.
Was Trap only in that room? Other rooms may be trapped too.
Yeah, even if Himiko picked the room, someone else could have set that trap.
Your
What if
opinions
someone
are empty
steered her
words.
into it?
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
With Himiko's
What if
decision,
someone
that's the
steered
green
her
bullet,
into
that's not
picking
right.
that room?
What if someone steered
Of
her
the
into it?
3
That has to be
empty
the libel
rooms.
list.
Why did you select the middle one, Himiko? Because you laid your trap there.
Was Trap only in that room? Other rooms may be trapped too.
Other rooms were trapped,
Yeah,
that's
even if
Kokichi.
Himiko picked the room, someone else could have set that trap.
Your opinions are empty words.
And those are the only 3. Okay.
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone
How'd I miss that? Oh, okay.
Was Trap only in that room? Other rooms may be trapped too.
Yeah,
Even if Himiko picked the room, someone else could have set that trap. Your opinions are empty words.
Performing
The seance in that room was Himiko's
decision, no?
What if someone
I'll reveal the truth.
Alright. If Himiko was the plan, then distributing the plan might teach us something. For that reason, I have to
Tsurugi
lie.
is correct. I believe Himiko was being set up. Himiko only picked that room because Kiyo wanted it as dark as possible.
In order for the caged child to succeed, the room must be as dark as possible. My lab has windows. Even so even with the lights off, it was not dark enough. And what about the empty rooms?
Even if Himiko did
Right.
choose an empty room because of what Kiyo said, are you saying she chose the middle room by pure coincidence?
The culprit gambled on the middle room being picked through coincidence? That seems highly improbable.
Well, I mean, he caught all three of them. Oh, it's true. The culprit wouldn't have had left that to chance. Maybe they didn't. Perhaps they manipulated Himiko somehow. However, there are left the empty rooms. Which one shall we use? Oh, the middle room. The middle room's always best for stuff like this.
No more. I told you, it's too much of a pain. Just do the voting or whatever.
Himiko.
I'm pretty sure it didn't matter which room Himiko chose.
Alright, I mean, you just point that out, that, you know, you stepped through the floorboards and got bloodied. But I mean, whatever.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do you
It's getting
mean?
kind of boring, so I'll explain.
Thank you.
She didn't choose the middle by coincidence. Each room was the same to begin with.
Each room, same?
Remember what Gonta said earlier? Maybe the culprit placed traps in all the rooms? Well, that was correct. Before the trial, I hurt myself checking all the rooms.
Ah, that's right.
I guess there's no crossbeams for this floorboard, so I kinda stepped through. With bad luck.
Kokichi found another loose floorboard in one of the other rooms.
Well, I didn't find it so much as I stepped through it and tripped.
I'd argue you found it.
Hold on! There was also a loose floorboard in the next room?
So the culprit prepared a trap in all 3 empty rooms, not just the middle one.
If the culprit set traps in all the rooms, then they wouldn't need to select a room themselves.
So the real trap was for someone else to pick a room and take the blame.
I see. We were caught in the culprit's trap all along.
Oh man, we were? No way.
Especially you!
Yeah, especially
But
Kiro.
no, there's no reason to suspect Himiko, right?
Himiko, do you remember what Tenko told you?
Keep your chin up and live life facing forward, despite me and everyone else. Please.
Live life facing forward. She said that to you, right? If you give up on living, you'd be betraying her memory. We're all trying to keep our promises to the dead. This trial, it's not just for our lives. It's for everyone who's died as well. That's why we can't give up. This is our responsibility. We live on.
You're right. Yeah, that's right. If I gave up here, I wouldn't be able to face Angie or Tenko.
That's right. So let's do our best.
Alright, I'm not gonna say it's a pain anymore. I won't give up. I'll fight alongside everyone and survive!
Do not say everyone. After all, the Blackened is still among us.
We love this Among Us term. Just constantly. It is every 4 lines.
Hey, there you go.
I
Still
swear.
in the mood like usual. But damn, well said, Shuichi. That's what I'd expect from my soul, bro.
Your soul, bro?
Well, anyway, do you think the Blackened this time has some sort of superpower?
What are you talking about?
Well, as a self-proclaimed expert of stepping through floorboards, isn't it weird that no one stepped through that floorboard before the culprit used it?
No?
Ah,
That is a good point.
It's really not.
Must have been barrier magic.
I mean, technically,
Well,
sure.
that's
Let's call it
one
that.
possibility, but I think it might have been something else.
Why no one stepped on the floorboard until it was used for the murder? Ah, that's it. That must be the reason. For the magic circle.
This is it! It's because of the magic circle at the scene of the crime.
Haha. It is dark in here, so be sure to watch your step. If the magic circle is broken, not only will a seance fail, but it'll also unleash a curse.
Before we began the seance, we were warned not to step on the circle. The floorboard in question was within the circle. That's why no one stepped on it.
So the magic circle's purpose was to keep us away from the whole trick.
Yeah, otherwise, when that card was activated, each player would summon a spellcaster type monster with 2,000 less attack points from their deck and face up attack position. And that probably wouldn't be good.
That was part of the culprit's plans too?
That's right. If that's the case, then the culprit. Just out of my mind, they're the one who killed Tenko. Only person had the opportunity and the motive. I'd hope so.
It has to be you! Kyo, was it you?
Whatever are you talking about?
I'm talking about Tenko's murder.
Kyo?
Why do you suspect me?
Is that a genuine
Because you
question?
were the one who drew the magic circle. The circle kept us from discovering the seesaw trick. But that's not all it was for. In order to make the murder succeed, variables like Tenko's position and the placement of the cage needed to be defined. And those variables were defined by using the magic circle. In short, the circle itself was the most important tool in this murder. Knowing that, the person who drew the magic circle has to be the culprit.
Well, Kyo,
Answer already! Did you do it?
What is so funny?
I was just thinking. So this is how each Blackened must have felt. What an intriguing experience this is.
What? An intriguing experience?
But if I am the culprit as you claim, then I stomped on the floorboard, yes? So, do tell. How could I have stomped on the floorboard during that darkened seance?
I see. That is problem.
Is it?
Unless that is made clear, you cannot be certain I am the culprit.
how can you be so calm when you're backed into a corner like this?
Well, this isn't the murder that matters.
I will explain that in due time. Please answer my question first.
The culprit stepped on the exact floorboard, even in darkness. But how? How did they move around total darkness? In a room that dark, it's hard to imagine the culprit found the right floorboard. Although, even after I put it on put out the candle, I could move along the wall with my
Wait
hand.
a minute. Maybe...
Did you figure it out?
That's it. The culprit didn't even have to see it at all. They used... I'll say salt, but I mean, I guess touch.
That's it! The culprit used touch. They didn't see, they felt.
That way
Right.
they could get around in the dark, like how I got to the candle.
Wasn't Seesaw in middle of room? Gonta doesn't think it was near wall.
So they probably used something besides the wall to move then, right?
Were there any other markers within reach?
Of course, the answer to that is there was nothing of the sort.
No, I'm sure there's something. A landmark they could have used to determine where the floorboard was. It must have been the scene of the crime. I know it. There's a lot of M's and a lot of A's. Magic circle? Really? We just talked about the magic circle. I don't see any eyes though. Oh, there we go. R C L E.
I see now. That's it. The magic circle. They used the magic circle.
What? They summoned a spellcaster type monster with 2,000 less attack points in their deck and face up attack position.
Remember? The magic circle
Like
was
a
drawn with
magician's
salt.
circle, but who cares?
The culprit used the salt's texture to feel their way to
Don't
the
play
dock.
Yu-Gi-Oh anyways.
I see. So Kyo traced the magic circle with his hands to get to the loose floorboard.
Oh, I see. You drew the magic circle with salt to use it as a guide.
An interesting thought. It is unfortunate that it is so wrong.
What?
Recall the document. What did the magic circle look like?
Based on the document, the magic circle wouldn't reach the corners of the room.
Okay.
So what?
When the room was darkened, each of us was in a corner of the room, yes? The magic circle didn't reach us, so I could not have followed it, yes?
We're
No.
talking about the magic circle in the document. That doesn't mean the circle you drew was the same.
No, I most definitely drew it exactly the same. I have it perfectly memorized.
So which is it? Is there any way to check?
Not anymore. The magic circle is a complete mess from being trampled on.
I see. Another piece of the puzzle. Drawing the circle with salt, all but guaranteed to be temporary. The investigation itself would have never gotten rid of the
Everyone,
evidence.
may I
Clever.
have your attention, please?
What a pain. We don't have any way to check it now.
Excuse me, everyone. May I have your attention, please?
Well, I guess there's no point in discussing the magic
Yep,
circle
it's
anymore.
over. All right. Case closed. Let's go to Angie's
Hey,
murder.
may I have your attention?
I said cut that out! It's too bright!
I apologize. I just wanted everyone to listen to me.
About what?
I had Mew add another function to my body, in addition to the flashlight.
What the? No way! Did you really? Stop! You can't! I didn't install it for that purpose!
Please, let me use it. With it, I might be able to save everyone.
Alright, so what is this function?
It's an image recording function.
Image recording?
Specifically, this function allows me to dispense a printout of my own memory. I'll give it a try. Ready?
There you go. There are the lines.
Your mouth?
I
also used magic like that before.
Oh yeah, Himiko uses that magic all the time.
This printout is my memory of being kicked out of the seance. Please confirm that the floor of the empty room is clearly visible. Go on, take the picture and see for yourself.
Okay, got it.
I reluctantly took the paper from Kibo's mouth. So, this is the magic circle
Well,
used for seance.
Shuichi, do you notice anything?
Well, I noticed that the lines don't actually go to the corners, they just kind of go wherever.
There! This helped a lot, Kibo. Without you, I never would have seen through Kyo's lie.
My lie.
You just said that you drew the magic circle exactly as it appears in the document. But that's a lie, isn't it? The magic circle at the scene had lines that stretched to the room's corners, which means that you would be able to find the floorboard from anywhere in the room.
So it was different from the document after all.
All because Himiko noticed. And because of Kibo, too.
Hey, where's my things? I'm the one who installed that function into Kibo.
Hey, yeah, what was it you were saying about its purpose?
Don't ask.
Oh, to be honest, the purpose of that image recording function is to monitor my health.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. Let's not elaborate.
Specifically, I make Kibo use that function every day to analyze my turds.
Your what? Why?
Our reaction there is perfect.
Shit is a great indicator of intestinal health and gut bacteria quality. Plus, taking a satisfying shit does wonders for a woman's natural beauty, so... See? You're all grossed out! This is why I didn't want to tell you about my plan!
Quit talking about your poop. No one cares. Kyo, you killed Tenko, didn't you? Just give up and admit it already.
So, Kyo, if you have any objections, you can...
Your deductions are fiction.
Alright.
Well, since you've given me the option, I will most certainly object. To be honest, it's unimportant, but it may be an amusing diversion.
Unimportant?
Now I shall bear witness to your abilities, Shuichi. Do entertain me. If you are going to claim I am the culprit, then what of the murder weapon? It was set up in the cage.
Yeah?
The only people capable of that are Kokichi and Shuichi, who carried the cage. So suspicion should fall on them.
Nope. Wrong button. Why
True,
is she
we could
still...
have placed the
Whatever.
sickle there, but we could not have removed it later. Because we weren't the ones who lifted the cage. That was Himiko.
The only person who could have collected the sickle is Himiko. But the only people who could have placed the sickle are Kokichi and Shuichi. But in regards to that dilemma, I did not carry the cage, nor I had no opportunity to touch the sickle.
I'll cut through your words! The only person who could have set up the sickle and retrieved it afterward is Kyo. That was done by covering the cage with a white cloth. You could have secretly placed the sickle when you draped the cloth. And retrieved it afterward when you removed the cloth. Then, while everyone was distracted, you discreetly dropped the sickle under the floor.
Wonderful! That's exactly correct.
Alright, easy enough.
It's correct. Then why don't you give up already?
The trick I put so much work into is just wasted effort now. Alas.
So, it was you? You killed Tenko?
Let me guess. You'll never forgive me. Himiko, you must hate me so very much. Maybe you'd feel better if I was executed by Monokuma. But unfortunately for you, that won't happen. Because if you vote for me, every spotless, including myself, will die.
What you talking about, Kyo?
You still don't understand? I killed Tenko, that is the truth. But it is meaningless in this class trial.
Meaningless?
You mean Monokuma's extra rule, right?
Oh, that's right. What happens to your votes if there are 2 blank candidates? Well, I've answered that. It's first come, first served.
You see, I killed Tenko, but not Angie. For us, Tenko's death is nothing but a trivial issue.
That we spent 2 hours
Because
on.
the blackened in this trial is the culprit who killed Angie.
Trivial issue? No, that's gotta be a lie. You probably killed Angie too.
That is simply not possible. Recall that I was unable to enter Angie's lab.
Oh, only student council members and Kokichi could enter research lab.
How could I have possibly killed Angie when I couldn't even enter her lab?
We can figure that out. No one else could have done it besides you. If you're the one who killed Tenko, you gotta be the one who killed Angie.
I understand how you feel, Himiko, but maybe we can discuss this rationally and calmly. There is a non-zero possibility that Kyo is telling the truth.
So you understand how she feels. I see. Wait, robots can understand human feelings?
Of course I understand. I work really hard to understand.
Hey, why are you getting all worked up, Kibo? Chill, dude.
That's enough! It's voting time! I'm gonna vote for him!
But we haven't done the metamorphic trial grounds yet.
Voting for me will only help the one who murdered Angie.
Isn't Kyo culprit?
Of course I'm not. This case was an error on my part. Monokuma added that rule after both bodies were found, yes? How was I to know that the trial would only be for Angie's killer? Had I known, I certainly wouldn't have killed Tenko.
You're lying! You killed Tenko and Angie!
Now hold on. Jumping to conclusions here is dangerous.
We should talk it out more. This case might have juicy plot twists waiting to happen.
I don't know. I mean, Soul Hacker's a lot more plot twists in this
Nuts
case.
to that! Any way you look at this case, Kyo is obviously the culprit.
Yeah, there's sort of no other way to look at it.
No, it's too dangerous to vote before we arrive at a logical decision.
The culprit's one of you! Wow!
There we
This
go.
argument is getting intense! At times like this, the Ultimate Academy is proud to present its very own more phenomenal trial grounds!
Yippee! I've been waiting for this!
I have been too.
Why were
man.
you waiting for it?
Kyo confessed to killing Tenko, but insists he didn't kill Angie. We won't forgive Kyo for what he did, but we can't vote until we know the facts. I have to pin down the evidence and convince everyone. Oh, Maki's on our side this time. Different.
Kyo killed Tenko and Angie!
Kibo! We don't know for certain that Kyo killed Angie.
He forced his way into Angie's research lab and killed her!
Lab.
Anyone could have entered my lab.
The katana was found in Kyo's lab.
So Kyo did kill Tenko, but he not blackened?
Kokichi!
Blackened.
Perhaps there's a second blackened we need to find.
He was planning to use the new rule to protect himself all along.
Kyo! Not possible. That rule was added after both murders.
We solved the mystery of Tenko's death. Can't we just vote?
I've got this!
Mystery?
Not yet. There's still another mystery to solve.
He forced his way into Angie's research lab and killed her!
Kyo killed Tenko and Angie!
Kibo!
Kyo.
We don't know for certain that Kyo
This one's
killed
not Lab,
Angie.
this one's Angie.
He forced his way into Angie's research.
I've got this! But he couldn't get into Angie's research lab.
The katana was found.
Kyo!
Lab.
Anyone could have entered my lab.
So Kyo did kill Tenko.
Kokichi!
Blackened.
Perhaps there's a second blackened we need to find.
He was planning to use the
Kyo!
Rule.
Not possible. That rule was added after both murders.
We solved the
I've got this!
And mystery.
Not yet. There's still another mystery to solve.
This is our answer.
It would be a mistake to vote before we've completely solved Angie's murder. And there's still the mystery of Tenko's murder.
Mystery? What kind of mystery?
Well,
Why'd he do it?
Kyo's confession derailed our conversation a bit. But we still have to go over one of the clues found at Tenko's crime scene. I believe it might even have something to do with Angie's murder.
Yes. Outline piece of evidence that Tenko's murder scene. The dried bloodstain.
This is it! The bloodstain found under the floor. Maki and I found it during the investigation. It was beneath the floorboard that the culprit stomped on.
Is that Tenko's blood?
That bloodstain was too far from Tenko's corpse to have been hers.
Also, the bloodstain was already dry when we found it. But the blood from Tenko's body hadn't even begun to dry yet.
Well, that's weird. Why was that bloodstain the only dry one?
The bloodstain on the floorboard was dry because... what happened before the seance?
That's it! The bloodstain wasn't from Tenko's murder. It was there before we started the seance.
Before the seance?
That should make it clear whose blood it was. It was Angie's.
That's it! That bloodstain wasn't Tenko's. It was Angie's.
Why was blood from Angie at the scene of Tenko's murder?
Yeah, wasn't Angie killed in her research lab?
Just because we found her body there doesn't mean she was killed there.
Ah, I guess that's possible.
I mean, same thing happened last trial. You know, body got
If
transported.
Angie wasn't killed in her lab, then that opens up a lot more possibilities. We assumed that only council members could have killed Angie since her body was in her lab. But if she died somewhere else, then we can't suspect just the council members anymore.
So the culprit didn't enter her lab, but waited for her to come out of it?
I'm not sure if the culprit waited for her, but they probably killed her when she came out. Well, I thought that was more likely from the start. So I went to places Angie might have gone and checked all 3 empty rooms.
Places she might have gone? Why did you check the empty rooms then?
The empty rooms were the only places I could think of that Angie would go.
Did Angie have business in rooms?
It seems Kokichi's up to his usual misleading nonsense again.
I do lie a lot, and I could be lying right now too. But I'm pretty sure someone's panicking right now because of my lie.
Angie left her lab on her own and headed to the room where she was killed. Is Kokichi's statement true, or...
The art research lab is not where Angie was killed.
Right.
She was killed in the empty room instead.
Right.
She left her lab on her own?
But why would she go into an empty room? There shouldn't have been anything in there. Except for candles.
That's it! She wanted a candle! Keep herself awake at night. She would drip hot wax on her body.
That sounds like something only you would do, Mew.
Yeah, I agree with Smooth there. What did Kokichi see? Something Angie did. There has to be
The
a
art
clue there.
research lab is not where Angie was killed. She was killed in the empty room instead.
Did she
left
need
her lab
fire
on her own?
to burn the...
But why would she go into an
Necronomicon?
empty room? There shouldn't have been anything in there. Except for candles.
That's it!
I can't believe that's right. When
That's
we
it.
got matches
Angie
in the
went to
warehouse.
that room to get a candle.
Yeah, for kinky wax play.
I don't even want to... No.
No. Angie was going to use it for the ritual. According to the Necronomicon, to resurrect the dead,
After preparing the effigy, burn this Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution. Be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Then, did she seek out a candle so she could burn the book?
That's right. There's nothing to start a fire with in Angie's lab. So she went to go get a candle from one of the empty rooms.
And that's when the culprit attacked her.
That's why there was dried blood underfloor.
Which means Angie was attacked in the same room the seance was held. Bravo, Himiko. Well done for choosing that room for the seance. If we hadn't done the seance in that room, then Tenko's murder would have been in another room. If that happened, no one would have discovered Angie's bloodstain under the floorboards.
That's right. Shuichi and I only checked under the floorboards where Tenko died.
Yep, it's all thanks to Himiko for choosing the same room as Angie. This must be a Tua's will. Or maybe the power of magic.
Magic.
It's neither. I just picked one.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. You're all acting as though you've proven that as fact already. You claim Angie was murdered in the empty room, and then moved to the lab? Then how do you explain the large amount of blood in the lab? It may be possible to carry a body, but blood cannot be moved.
I think she was still alive after the attack in the empty room. She was killed after she was carried to her lab.
This means the culprit attacked her twice. I have evidence of that. Isn't the Monokuma file? Or I guess it's a forehead injury. I mean, that would be how he transported her into her lab, he would duct tape the wound. I'm gonna say forehead injury.
This is it!
Okay, cool.
The fatal wound was a cut to the back of her neck from the katana. But she also showed signs of blunt force trauma, and I think I know why. After Angie was knocked unconscious in the empty room, she was killed in her lab.
I see. So that puddle of blood is from the killing blow. Ha! It's all clear now. Angie was attacked in the empty room, carried to her lab, and it was there that the culprit finished her off.
All clear. This is all clear. What are you all talking about? All clear? What is all clear? What are you? All clear? What are you all? You what? What are? I will not fear. I will not back down. Sweet Korekio, calm yourself. Their words are all hollow. There is no meaning to any of them.
Yeah, this would happen.
You must teach these ignorant children a lesson. Yes, you're right. Okay, I'll teach them.
What the hell are you mumbling about? You're giving me the goddamn willies!
Not yet. Nothing is clear at all. It's full of doubts, of mysteries, of a dense, impenetrable fog! Nothing is clear at all! Angie was attacked in the empty room
Bloody
first. And then carried into the research lab? Impossible! Impossible! That's nothing but a delusion! You intend to poison our minds with your delusions?
It's no delusion. Angie's 2 external wounds tell the story. After she was struck in the empty room, she was carried to the art research lab and then killed.
You say the culprit carried Angie's body? And not a single drop of blood fell? The hallway and empty room had no bloodstains. Damn it! You say the culprit carried Angie's body? And not a single drop of blood fell? The hallway and empty room had no bloodstains. Even if you wipe them down later, there'd still be traces of evidence left behind. But there was no evidence anywhere, was there, Shuichi?
I'll cut through your words.
There we go.
There was evidence left at the scene. The bloody tape under Angie's body.
What?
It was wrapped around her head to stop the bleeding while she was being carried.
Bloody tape? Gonta didn't notice at all.
It was under the body. It's most likely evidence the culprit should have gotten rid of. But since it was hidden, the culprit didn't notice and failed to dispose of it.
It must have fallen as the fatal blow was dealt, and ended up under her body.
It must have been Atua who did that for us.
What? Atua? How long are you going to keep that up?
Now we know most of the mystery behind Angie's murder.
I'm convinced there's only one person who could have killed Angie.
Do we really have to select them? I mean, obviously, it's gonna be freaking Kokichi. I mean, clearly.
It has to be you! It's you, Kyo. You killed Angie.
See, what he should have done here was lied and said that he saw Tenko kill Angie. And then, for revenge for Atua's sake or whatever, he killed Tenko.
What the fuck? So it's true!
Yeah, you start out the case with that, and you know, it was a good induction.
Well, that was obvious. Such a boring, obvious answer.
It was pretty obvious.
Killed both of them. Why did you kill them?
In terms of pure logic, only one victim was necessary to win.
Why? Why you killed them both?
I think one of the murders was an accident.
And it wasn't the second one.
An accident?
That's right. It wasn't part of the plan.
Huh? Which one?
Well, the murder that was an accident was the murder of Angie.
That's it!
You know, the first one.
Angie's murder was an accident.
What? Tenko wasn't accident?
That's right. Kyo originally planned to kill someone with a seesaw trick.
Yeah?
But while he was making preparations in the empty room, Angie walked in. So he decided to kill her in order to keep her from talking.
She just happened to walk in on the culprit setting up and was killed.
Then you should have just stopped there.
He should have. He might have gotten away with that one.
He killed Angie. There was no reason for him to kill Tenko.
You only needed to kill one for this game. Killing two is pointless. If you get bonus points for killing more, then sure. Otherwise, it leaves more clues behind.
Why, Kyo? Why you killed two of our friends?
What on earth are you talking about? No, I'm not the culprit. So, why is everyone looking at me like I am? Why? Why are they? Why is it? Calm yourself, Korekio. Yes. You mustn't raise your voice. You mustn't stutter. You mustn't lose composure. You mustn't become flustered. You mustn't waver. Look at their horrid faces. This sorry lot is not worth agonizing over. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
There he goes again. What the hell's wrong with him?
Just don't question
It
it.
almost seems like he's talking with someone.
Someone? He's just talking to himself. And why the hell is he wearing lipstick?
No matter how loudly you protest, this is a trivial matter. I will never acknowledge your allegations. Not a single one of them. So you see, there is no evidence that I killed Angie. No, I will not acknowledge it.
Okay.
I will only acknowledge facts, true events. I won't acknowledge fiction, mystery. I won't acknowledge your deductions or guesses. Well said. Good job, Korekio. Yes, thanks.
Yeah, this student level in this case.
Creeps me the fuck out!
No evidence. There's no evidence that he
You're
killed
wrong.
Angie?
There is evidence.
What? You do realize bluffs like that won't work, yes?
I've bluffed like 3 times this
The
trial.
weapon that was
I
used to
bluffed a
knock
4th
Angie
time.
unconscious in the empty room. That weapon tells us the whole story, Kyo.
That's not possible. I think you may have misunderstood. Apologize. Come on, apologize. 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 Apologize.
Seriously, what the hell's happening?
Again, just don't question it. I have no idea what's happening with Kyo. But I know what weapon he used on Angie. I'll prove it to him.
I have nothing to admit. You are simply wrong. Yes, I'm not the culprit. So I have nothing to confess. I have nothing to admit. You are simply wrong. Yeah, I'm not the culprit, so I have nothing to confess. Why must you force your delusions on us? Your logic? That's merely a delusion. Well said, Colecchio. To continue this debate is meaningless. Why must you force your delusions on us? Your logic? That's merely a delusion. Well said, Colecchio. To continue this debate is meaningless. Why must you... I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me! Corecchio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. Apologize. 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 I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me! Corecchio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. Apologize. Apologize. Apologize.
Oh, I can't.
Apologize. Apologize. I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me! Corecchio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. Apologize. 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 Apologize.
I don't like that.
I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me! Corecchio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. Apologize. 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 I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me! Corecchio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. You have no proof that Corecchio is the killer.
Remove floorboard.
It's here!
Why'd you strip everybody?
Kyo hit Angie with the same floorboard used in the seesaw trick.
I see. And how do you know the floorboard was the murder weapon?
There was a small patch of dried blood on the underside of the floorboard.
Angie's blood?
Blood that spattered there when the culprit struck Angie with the board. But that's not the only evidence that she was hit with that floorboard. There's also the blood stain under the floor to consider. For that to be there, the floorboard must not have been in place at the time of the attack.
Good point. Had the floorboard been in place, her blood wouldn't have splattered beneath it.
Kyo's earlier confession is further evidence that the floorboard was used.
How?
If the weapon used to hit Angie is the floorboard from the seesaw trick,
It means the culprit knew about the seesaw, so the same person killed Tenko and Angie. I believe that while Kyo was setting up the seesaw, he was holding the board when Angie walked in.
And he cold-cocked her with a floorboard.
all you can do now is accept it. You even confessed to Tenko's murder already.
So it's true. This is the truth.
Indeed.
Looks like we're almost at the end. All right, Shuichi, I'll leave the finale to you. Bring down the house.
Ichi, please, put an end to this. For Angie and Tenko's sake. End this class trial.
I understand. I'll go over everything one more time. Kyo, I want you to confess. No, I will force you to confess.
Alright, time for the manga segment. Alright, so who was in the who's the culprit with the saw in the empty room? We've got like nothing. Slide door lock, removed golden leaf katana, removed floorboard, and small stone Himiko had. That'll be the floorboard. That'll be duct tape, which I don't think I've got yet. That seems like it'd be earlier. Who's after she was stabbed? That would be, Kaede's. The handle of spinning katana. Hitting the slide and lock. Kokichi did, which we don't have. It'll be the stone Himiko brought. What weapon did the culprit set up on the stage? That would be the sickle, which I don't think I've got yet. What do I have? Just remove the golden leaf katana, that's it. Who was the culprit with the same... Who was the culprit with the saw in the empty room? I don't think I understand the question. Removing the golden leaf katana. Sure. Something still that made sense. Alright, well, what we got? Sickle place to kill. Duct tape for compression. Path made salt. That'll be the sickle. And then the path of salt, I guess, is earlier. Or later? Earlier? I don't know. I guess, yeah, it'd be later. Alright. I mean, that makes more sense to me, so that's what I'll do. Kaede. When was Angie's body found? Who unlocked the door? Kokichi. Who says Kokichi responsible for extinguishing candles? That was us. Top of the floorboard. There we go.
This is the truth of the case!
Let's look back at the first murder. It was late last night. The culprit was in the empty room on the 4th floor. The culprit was preparing the seance murder they had planned. To use the floorboard as a seesaw, they had to cut the crosspiece supporting it. The plan was to make the same preparations for all 3 empty rooms. This would divert suspicion away from the culprit and whoever picked a room. To cut the crosspieces, they needed a saw. I imagine they got one from the warehouse. They were planning to cut the crosspieces in all 3 rooms. However, when the culprit was working on the middle room, the unexpected happened. Angie walked into that room and saw the culprit making their preparations. She needed some fire for the ritual and had gone to the room for a candle. At that point, the culprit had not finished the setup and was just cutting crosspieces. Angie might not have concluded that it was tied to some kind of murder plan. But now that Angie had seen it, the culprit couldn't use the seesaw trick. Any other person might have just given up, but not our culprit. The culprit took the floorboard they loosened and struck the unsuspecting Angie in the head. The culprit did not want to give up on their plan and had to improvise. They wrapped duct tape around Angie's injury to stop the bleeding. Then they picked up her unconscious body and carried her to a research lab. While she was unconscious, the culprit hurried to tie up this loose end. But because they were in a hurry, they made a crucial oversight. They didn't notice the duct tape had peeled off and was under Angie's body. Without that evidence, we may never have figured out the culprit's trick. Carrying the supplies they needed, the culprit returned to the ultimate art lab. Locked the front door from inside. And took out the katana they brought from their own lab. They then stabbed Angie in the back of the neck, finally killing her. Then, to further confuse us, the culprit attempted to make a locked room mystery. First, they used rope from the warehouse and hung 4 effigies upside down. There were 2 reasons for this: to overwhelm the room with an occult atmosphere, and the other was the key to locking the room. The culprit stuck the katana into Kaede's effigy near the rear entrance. And spun the effigy around to twist up the rope. After enough turns, the culprit let go and headed for the rear door. Once released, the effigy began spinning, and the gold leaf katana with it. The handle of the katana then hit the sliding lock, locking the door. A difficult trick, but remember that the lock was so loose it moved at the slightest touch. The culprit also would have had the opportunity to attempt it many times.
Very true.
Once complete, the door was locked, but the duct tape was left behind. Perhaps the culprit noticed it, but by that point, it was too late. The room was sealed. There was no way for them to get back inside. Then, this morning, we opened up the room and discovered Angie's body. But the culprit wasn't finished. They wanted one more murder. To do that, they manipulated us into performing this seance. Of the 3 empty rooms, the middle one was chosen for the seance. I was invited by Kokichi to take Kibo's place in the seance. Tenko volunteered to be the medium, but she never imagined it would get her killed. To perform the seance, the culprit claimed they needed something for Tenko. A small stone that Himiko had brought from the courtyard. Tenko, at the culprit's request, bowed her head until it was touching the stone. That position was instrumental in making sure the murder went as planned. Next, Kokichi and I placed the iron cage over Tenko in the middle of the magic circle. The culprit then volunteered to drape the white cloth over the iron cage. We didn't realize it at the time, but that was a deliberate decision by the culprit. They needed to set up the murder weapon that was used to kill Tenko. While they were covering the cage with a cloth, they secretly placed the sickle. Finally, 4 of us placed the wooden statue on top of the cage. The culprit used the weight of the statue to keep the murder weapon in place.
Also the cage in place from when you're using that
After the
seesaw.
preparations were complete, we began the seance. In complete darkness, we each stood in one corner and sang the Cage Child song. When the song finished, the soul of the dead was supposed to enter the medium. But our culprit had another plan, to commit. Right after we started singing, the culprit began making their way toward Tenko. It would have been quite difficult to do in total darkness, but our culprit had a guide. They used the lines of the magic circle drawn with salt. The culprit felt for the salt and used it to guide them along. And when the culprit reached the center of the circle, they found the floorboard that had its crosspiece cut off the night before. Then lifted up their foot and stomped down hard on the floorboard. The floorboard lifted up like a seesaw and pushed Tenko's body up toward the ceiling of the cage. Tenko was stabbed in the back of the neck by the sickle on the top of the cage. She was killed right before our eyes, and we didn't even see it. After committing the crime, the culprit followed the salt back to their corner. Finished the ritual, and had us light the candles. We followed the culprit's directions and removed the equipment used for the seance. And discovered Tenko's body. While we were all focused on the body, the culprit picked up the sickle and dropped it under the floor through the hole in the corner of the room. Ironically, the final step of the murder was unwittingly carried out by us. The culprit had planned the murder so that we would unintentionally destroy some evidence. That evidence was the magic circle that the culprit used to navigate in the dark. However, the culprit didn't know that Kibo had taken a picture. He really saved us. Without that, we wouldn't know what changes were made to the circle. But now we know for certain, and we know the culprit drew the magic circle. Korekio Shinguchi, the ultimate anthropologist. You're the culprit behind these murders.
All right.
That's where my detective work leads us. It all fits.
Sweet Korekio. There are times when it's necessary to admit defeat. Admit? Yeah. Okay.
So you finally admit you did it.
Unfortunately. Yes. Yes. It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. My one regret, my only regret, was not being able to make 100 friends.
100 friends?
It was my dream to make 100 friends. Oh, it's so unfortunate! I was so close to 100!
What are you talking about? I do not understand a word of this.
Who gives a fuck? Let's vote for this kooky bastard and be done with this already!
Roger that! One voting time coming up!
The heart racing excitement as...
The heart racing excitement!
As the blackened and the spotless finally face off!
Yes.
It's voting time!
Alright, who are we gonna vote for? I don't know. It might, could be Tenko. I think Tenko did it. Oh, I actually didn't mean to vote for Kyukishi.
Now then, it seems
Well,
the voting has finished. Let's see the result.
Whoops. I'm sure it's fine. It'll be fine. I might have voted for the wrong person, but you know, it's fine. I didn't mean to do that one. Oh well.
Who'll be chosen as the blackened? Will
This
you
doesn't
make
matter.
the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Hey, we did it. Good job, team. I helped a lot in that. Not a bad result. Yeah, that mining game will be terrible at. Alright.
Wah!
Seriously, correct again?
Absolutely right!
Amazing. This is the third correct verdict in a row. Oh man, if you manage to get 12 correct verdicts in a row, you'll proceed the bonus round. How's it gonna last that long?
For now.
It's finally over. No, not yet. I haven't heard his answer yet. Kyo, why? Why'd you kill Angie and Taiko? Yeah, he had no reason to kill both. No matter what his motive he had.
Hey!
Motive? Yeah, did your motive have something to do with the transit student who was resurrected? Even if it did, though, how did that trigger a murder? Hey, don't tell me. Were you actually scared of the resurrection ritual, Kaido? I was never so scared. The resurrection ritual had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Because we are friends, I'll tell you. I never once believed in the ritual. I would never kill someone over such a silly thing as that. So no do with the motive? Then why? For the one that I love.
There is someone that I love.
From the bottom of my heart, someone so dear, someone I long for.
I love her with all my heart, and she loves me with all her heart. Yes, we vowed an endless love to each other, forever bound by fate. None can come between us. We are bound by an intense love, no matter what anyone says.
What?
Got pregnant, make a perfect love life? Fuck you! Someone's not that lucky. So to see this lover of yours, you had to escape. That's why you killed Angie and Tenko? But why did you kill them both? If you asked, I did it to escape this place. My answer would be no. Because I have no need to escape this place. The one I love is inside. Inside.
Wait!
Don't look at me. I'm not his lover. Calm down. No one would want a disgusting shit-stuffed bitch like you anyway. What? Hey! Kyo, who is it? It's the person you love. Is it really one of us? When I say inside, I did not mean inside this academy. I mean inside me. Yes, the one I love lives inside me, my dearest sister. Sister?
Wait!
Don't look at me! I'm not his fucking sister! Oh, duh. If you're a sister, he would have killed himself already. Your sister, but you didn't say she was your lover. It is not that difficult. My sister's my lover.
I loved her so deeply.
Keep in mind, this is a
loved me
game
so deeply.
where we've colored the blood pink to preserve the rating of the game.
The fact that we were siblings
And this is the
meant
plot
nothing
line.
to us. They called it forbidden love, but none could stop the love we shared. Oh, how I long for my sister's warmth.
Like, the blood's pink,
The only time I
and
felt
this
at
is the
peace
plot line.
was when I was enveloped in my sister's warmth. For my beloved sister.
Always messing around.
You had to escape from here, right? No. I had to kill for her. What? Sister was very sickly. She was always in and out to the hospital ever since she was a child. Because of that, she didn't have many friends. She always seemed so lonely. Even if I could be her little brother and her lover, I couldn't be her friend. So I thought I'd find her some friends. Friends of my dear deceased sister. Deceased.
Do you understand?
My sister is now a ghost, so her friends should be ghosts
For
too,
my
like.
beloved sister.
For my sister's sake, I've killed so many to send her 100 friends. They are wonderful people, worthy of being sister's friends. What?
Incomprehensible.
This is just impossible to understand. Too impossible. Sister is very happy. Yes, Kurokiro. I am very happy. Thanks to you, I am not lonely. Could it be that lipstick version of
I'm
Kyo
Konekio's
is...
older sister.
take you for looking after my brother.
What?
What the fuck?
Yes.
After I lost my beloved sister, I was so distraught. I nearly went mad. But sister came
I
to
am
save me.
pleased.
She visited me during one of my seances and stayed inside me.
Sister.
Now, I can see her whenever I want. I'm never
Correctio.
lonely. That is wonderful, Correctio. Your love made the impossible
Are you
possible.
serious?
Is this really a
told
spirit?
you.
He is just delusional. But the sad girl who can't even believe in the power of love.
Ew.
He's totally out of his mind. He killed for a dead chick. You say he killed a lot already, right? So, it was just the two you
What
killed
was
here.
that?
Seems like he's already crazy before he got
Because-
here. You didn't kill to escape from here. That was your purpose from the get-go. You wanted to slaughter a bunch, huh?
Unacceptable.
Do not make me out to be some bloodthirsty, indiscriminate killer. I only kill girls who I think are worthy of being sisters' friends. Only girls. I see, so when you're deciding on who should be the medium, for that, let's choose a spiritual medium. It would work best with the girl. You said work best with the girl. I spent my time valuing all the girls here. And besides Maki and Miyu, they are all worthy of being sisters' friends. All
Why
worthy.
you?
Hey, how come not concluded? I mean, not like I care. Then the second victim could have been me? Tenko died in my place? Then I'll do it. Huh, I can think of anyone but me that anti-spirit should go in. No, I'll do it.
Excellent.
Himiko would have been great, but Tenko volunteered made me so happy. A noble, earnest heart made her a perfect friend for sister.
Wonderful.
She inflicted the student council to protect Himiko. Huh? Infiltrate, really?
What?
How did you? It was obvious to me. I have studied many people.
Can this
Yes,
be?
she stood up against the darkness of the school all by herself. Our very beloved
Beautiful.
friend. I was so touched by that. Wonderful. She was a perfect friend for sister. I can't understand why you didn't like her, Himiko.
Well,
So, I was planning on having you become sister's friend, too. Eventually.
No way!
What did you do all that for? Wow! You do all that just to kill? For you, that to go that far. That's pretty impressive. You were interested in the caged child. You could, just so you could use it to kill someone, right? It interested me as a pathologist, of course. But more
for
than
my
that,
beloved sister.
I wanted to kill for my sister. I cannot deny that overpowering feeling.
Are you okay?
Hi, Toriuke, you look kind of pale. Don't worry about it. Let's focus on Kyo right now. Allow me to explain, though. I did not plan to kill them both. I knew I'd have plenty of chances after escaping this place. But Angie walked in on me preparing, and I ended up killing her in a different way. I figured I may as well kill someone else too. After all, it would be a shame to waste the seance strictly prepared. You're talking like you killed her just because you could. No, not just because I could. I was sending another friend to sister.
Correctio.
You're such a thoughtful little brother, but it was bad to get greedy. You're right. Because of that, now I can't send 100 friends to sister. Do you understand now? Those were the circumstances of Kiro's crimes. I don't understand at all. This is just impossible to understand.
Why?
That's right. Kill 2 friends for your dead sister. That's wrong. That's so wrong. Don't get so worked up. There's something I learned after
Do
sister's
not
death.
worry.
Death only changes a person's form. The soul lives on
That's
as a
right.
ghost. Even though I'm a ghost now, I'm always by Kiro's side.
Sister.
Thank you, sister. I love you. Cut it out already.
What was that?
I don't understand anything you're saying. Nothing makes sense. It's not fair. Why Angie Tenko have to die for something so unfair? Because death's unfair.
And another thing.
And all deaths are unfair deaths. Why do you think news stations get such high ratings when they're talking about death? Because everyone likes unfair deaths.
Maybe.
Well, if you look like that, the whole point of the killing game embodies that philosophy, right? Gives high school students forced to play a killing game. Man, if you were watching this, they get a kick out of it. If people were watching this... Talk about the bullshit. Only sick fucks would enjoy watching
You
this.
got me.
Hell yeah! If I was in this killing game, I'd have so much
So
fun
then-
watching it. The nature of this killing game is yet shrouded in mystery, but my role isn't over. I have finished my explanation to you, friends.
Sister.
I think I shall go and see her now, my beloved sister. I was unable to send her 100 friends, but at least I can see her
Kurokio.
now. It's alright, sweet Kurokio. Come here to me. Looks like you've been prepared. Now then, let's get started.
Punishment time!
This is the moment you've waited for. It's punishment time. Punishment
Sister.
time. My beloved sister. At long last, I finally get
That's
to see
right.
you again. Yes, from now on, no one will try to stop us. We can be together without having to hide our love from each other. I can't accept this. Like I said, there's no such thing as a death that can be
From an
accepted.
anthropological point of view,
What do you think? So many different cultures have funeral rites. Why do you think rumors of ways to resurrect dead never cease? The living must find a reason, however, forced to accept when it happens. How come you come to terms with death also determines how you live,
What
yes?
was that?
The answer I reached. How about you? How will you live a life that faces death? I'm prepared for a very special punishment for the ultimate anthropologist, curatorist, or whatever.
I shall observe.
I'll watch over you all as a ghost. As your friend, I will watch
That's
over
right.
you. You will just meet me and Kirokiro. All those who died will be watching. I'll be watching to see how you face death with your
Humanity
friends.
is beautiful.
I'll be watching forever and ever.
It's punishment time!
Thank God. Get rid of him. Oh my God. Bakuyabot. Yes. And there we go. But Bakuyabot's dead. What?
How gory!
No, Monotam, why?
How can this be?
To think my cute child would commit suicide. It's so cute. It's so freaking cute to kill himself because he couldn't get along. Monotam committed suicide. Had no this happened, I would have been nicer to him. The reason Monotam obsessed over getting along was because everyone but me bullied him. But the other one comes to to suicide, not me. Who's Maladam? What, you already forgot? That's kind of scary.
Well now.
Well, looks like the class trial has wrapped up that incident, so I'm gonna take back this Macarena.
Wow, wow, wow.
Such a waste of time. You guys, sure you don't want to use it? You guys should have brought something back to life and add it to your roster.
You?
Shut up. How long are you gonna keep talking about that?
Told you.
Ignore him. The whole resurrection ritual was obviously a lie. He's trying to shake us up mentally to get us to panic. I'm assuming you'll think that another murder will happen if you do that, right? You can't say. What a waste. If none of you were going to use it, you should have let me have it. I could resurrect one of my dead siblings. Which one? I don't know. They're not pretty terrible, actually. Wait, did one of us die? I could have sworn it's just been to us the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too bad you missed a chance to raise the dead. That's what you get for doubting me. Too bad.
So long. Farewell.
Farewell. Even now he talks about raising the
Always
dead.
messing
It's
around.
stupid. What people believe in is up to them, but living people shouldn't have to suffer because of the dead. The living are more precious than the dead, no matter what. That's not something a coward like you should say. Shut up, leave me alone. But there's one more thing this case taught me. I thought there was a god watching over us, but there isn't at all, not in this academy. Yeah, you're right. Well, that's why we have to work together, right? Face it together. All the talents are the best weapons we have.
Going to do his best.
They're going to do his best to keep everyone safe. Goten won't protect everyone. But your talent is like bugs. I don't want to switch you to use all the talent anymore. I'm getting sick of class trials. Yeah, you're right. Your talent assassin's way more trouble when you use that, huh?
Okay.
I'll work hard until everyone trusts my little talent. Plus, I'm pretty sure that guy that just died had way more kills than I did.
That's right.
May not possible now, but I'll put it in the effort so everyone can trust me. I won't run away from it anymore. I want to survive and escape this place to everyone. Maki. I see. I wonder how long that'll last. What if your true killer, true Collins killer shows? Don't underestimate her. Maki rolls one of my sidekicks. I don't remember being your sidekick. Also, did I tell you to stop calling Maki roll? Oh, you guys are close now? This must be a powerful bond of friendship. I'd prefer it didn't happen sooner, especially not after losing 7 people. You're right. Only 9 people left now. What do you know? The dumbass can do basic math. That's right, 7 pieces of shit have been flushed away, only 9 remain. By that calculation, doesn't that make you one of the pieces? Just 9 of us. Humans are like weeds, too numerous to count. 7 of us dead doesn't mean much in the end. That's totally what a heartless robot was thinking. Right? Not thinking that. Your blatant homophobia is simply inexcusable. But hey, none of us gave up, right? We're all gonna escape. I'm not gonna rely on a god and spirits or
I
dead.
believe in you.
I believe in you guys. I believe in all of you.
Well, of course.
You're right. Those of us who remain can start over. Hey, hold up. Keyboy needs to apologize to everyone for this whole student council thing. And there's only one kind of apology that I'm willing to accept. You get off and smash into the ground with all your strength. Got it?
Way.
I've never heard of such an intense form of an apology. It seems like everything's settled for now, even though we're missing her.
You alright?
Himiko, you okay? Anything Gonta can do to help, you can tell Gonta. I think we should let her have some space for now. Yeah, that might be best for her.
Okay.
I remember how I felt. Oh, well, Gonta understand.
You're so dumb.
God, Himiko's such a liar.
Because I'm a liar.
Personally, I don't think lies are exactly a bad thing. Let's face it, you wouldn't have any free will if the world was comprised of just the truth. But even then, I don't think it's good to lie to yourself, you know.
Right?
What are you saying? Think about Himiko's feelings for a little bit. Huh, I said, because I thought about that. Himiko's been lying to herself about her own feelings, so she's been holding back. Hey, what are you pressing? Why are you trying so hard to hold back? What? Hold back? Expressing your feelings is perfectly natural. You shouldn't be ashamed at all. So, if you feel like crying while you're talking to Angie, go ahead and cry your eyes out. You'll feel better when you do. Well, I mean, laughing makes you feel better too. And venting your anger on someone can really cheer you up. Train your heart by crying, laughing, and venting your anger, Himiko. Come on, Angie. So sorry. So lonely. So lonely without you two. I gotta survive. I still can't go to where you are, but I'm lonely. So lonely without both of you. Himiko. Himiko cried for a long time. She cried as if she was releasing all the emotions she had bottled up inside. Before I knew it, it was as if lured by her doing so. We began crying. The tears we shed, I can't even describe it. We were crying about what we've been through and what was to come. Sadness, hatred, frustration, discord, anger, love, tears filled with emotion. But at the very least, they weren't tears of submission. They were tears to push us forward. After a while, Himiko finally calmed down. However,
Is she hard to carry, Gonta?
No, she fine.
She's sleeping very peacefully.
She's all tuckered out after crying. Robots sleep well after leaking their oils too, right?
I have told you many times that I do not use oil as my fuel source.
But wow, that really surprised me. She passed out as soon as she stopped crying.
Yeah, but she looks so peaceful sleeping like that.
She probably felt better after letting it all out, don't you think?
Yeah, I hope so.
Then Gonta carry Himiko to her room.
Make sure you focus real good on your back, you hear me? You'll need that focus if you want to feel her little mosquito bites poking ya!
There's no way he'd do such a thing. Gonta is a gentleman after all.
while we're heading back to the dorms, I suddenly noticed Kaito had stopped in his tracks. Kaito, what's wrong? Oh, it's nothing. I just wanted to get some night air. Don't worry about me. Go on ahead. Are you sure? Anyway, don't do something like this again, okay? If you dislike scary things, then you should have said so earlier. I thought you were you worried about me? Yeah, worried about your stupidity. Still haven't warmed up to me, huh? But maybe not. But I feel like the walls we had are coming down a little, you know? Perhaps those walls were our enemies. It seems like she doesn't want to wait anymore. Yeah, because of me.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, but you sound like you're bragging, Kaito. Yeah. But like I said, I'm gonna go back and get some air before I go back. You can go on ahead. Sure, got it. See you tomorrow? Yeah, see you tomorrow. After our goodbyes, I returned to my dorm room. I didn't notice what was going on with Kaito.
Damn it! I don't have time to be dying. I still haven't gone into space yet. Damn it. No way am I gonna die here. No way.
And there we go. that's the end of Chapter 3. Alright, I'll see you guys next one for the day of life of Chapter 4. Until then, peace.